Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Wednesday, September the 11th. I'm joined, as always, the Chip Chirimbes in person, not the imposter Chip we had yesterday. Welcome on into the show. Hit the like button here. All right. Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast on YouTube channel. Like button hit. Notification bells on if you want free picks daily here. 4 days a week with videos recorded. Live shows on Friday and Monday. We'll talk about that in a second. But again, hit the like and be part of the Winner Circle family. And we're powered by gamblersWORLD.net as always. 3 738 packages are guaranteed. You can't beat that. Use the leaderboards. You see how we're doing. Chips on a nice little run. Again, the leaderboards are there for you. Find out who you like, who you want to follow. 3 730 guaranteed. We don't show a profit. You get credited back. And then again, here you go. Football's wrapping up. 2:49 for the rest of baseball. Playoff push time. People wanted baseball. We did baseball on Monday and Tuesday. We got playoffs coming. A lot of good endings to the season. Some nice matchups coming. Maybe I'll sprinkle a game in on like a Tuesday or something. Me and Chip will do a baseball game or something. But I know people love their football. People love football. And football, if you haven't already, gamblersWORLD.net, the progressive NFL pick contest is up. Go in there, free to enter. Cash, money, prizes. Plus, we give away subscriptions to me, Chip, Doug, Victor, Matt Fargo, Mark Lawrence, whoever you want. Free to enter, and you get cash money or picks in return. And that will obviously turn into cash money when we win. Speaking of the winning, we got live shows, right? So Friday Football Live, Mark Lawrence, Victor King, and myself. 1 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to be there. Last week, we went 2-1. I think we're like the 2-1 crew on Fridays with our live show. But you know what? You spread that out over a season. That's going to be a nice winning year. And Monday night, we did our first live Monday night show. It was me. No one showed up because I sprung it on Mark and Victor live, and Chip was traveling. Listen, we're going to have guests on Monday night. Come on in, 7 p.m. Eastern. I threw out some props. We hit a couple props. We talk about games. A lot of comments there. People threw in some good stuff as well. So if you like the live stuff and back and forth with myself and Chip and Doug or Mark or whoever's going to be here, come to the live show on Monday. Now, without further ado, I got 2 minutes of me rambling on for you. I know you love that, folks, because I could talk. Mr. Chip Chirimbes is in the house. Good to see you back, my friend. I don't know if you watched yesterday's show. I had a little imposter Chip with me doing the show. He popped in as a little guest. I thought people would really like the imposter Chip. No one really. I got a couple comments. Not much. I thought it was pretty funny. But Chip, nice weekend for you. And we didn't get to really talk about the Monday night game. What do you think about that? And what else is going on? We got a game tomorrow. We're going to do 2 college football games today. And I should mention my play with Seattle yesterday. MLB, it did go down. Seattle didn't show up. A couple hits off, a couple homers early off Darvish. They couldn't take care of business, but we'll get back on track with me and Chip there with 2 college football. But Chip, welcome back. Monday night, thoughts on that? And then what else is going on?
Well, great minds must think alike because I also had Seattle. So, we fell short in that one for sure. But, baseball's been great all along. And Monday night was spectacular for me. It closed out a weekend where I had won my megabucks on Saturday, my big play, and won on Sunday with Indianapolis over Houston. But, so, these 2 football games we have here today, later on in the week, I think we can do a little analysis with them and give some people some insights. But like I said, baseball keeps on rolling, and so are we. I'm sorry I miss it when I have to travel, but, we're here today, and let's, come up with some winners.
What did you think of the Jets on Monday night?
All right.
Or lack of Jets. The more like were they the Jets or the JetBlue, or kind of like the I don't know. Where did the Wright brothers fly? Biplanes? They weren't jets for sure.
I was always a little afraid of Rodgers, but apprehensive about him. And he could have. I don't know if he could be sharper. I don't know if this is the best we're going to see out of him this year. He is 40 years old, but once again, like I've said for a couple of years now, this Jet defense is probably the most overrated defense in football. I keep hearing how they're elite. Last year, they never made a stop when it was needed. Neither did they do that the year before. And San Francisco scored 7 times. I mean, 5 field goals and 2 touchdowns. That's 7 scores. And so I think defensively, they're not quite where they're supposed to be. I like their running game, but you know, I don't know. Maybe it's the coaching because it just never seemed like the Jets could actually were going to win that game to me. As I watched the game, it looked like San Francisco was physically dominant. They ran the ball at will against this great Jet defense.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we'll see what happens along the line. I mean, the Jets are going on the road right now. And are they favored on the road once again?
4-point favorite. Actually, it came down. I was doing a show yesterday. It was 4.5. It came down to 3. Like someone buried Tennessee to drop it a whole point at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 3. I'm thinking, though, when I saw that move, maybe somebody's out. Maybe there's going to be no Gardner or whatever. And like you said, you were saying they're overrated, and I was like, hey, the Jets talk a whole lot of crap on defense. Go prove it. And then they get smashed right in the mouth. I don't like the Jets on Sunday. I didn't like them before the line move. I wish I would have grabbed 4.5. Same with the Niners. Like, I'm not taking road teams off Monday night short weeks, especially a physical kind of battle with two kind of defensive first teams. Like, I don't care if it's week 1. I'm not going to go and lay points on the road with 2 teams favored. And now they're saying CMC maybe out again, which doesn't make a difference when the guy just rushes for 200 yards. I don't think it does.
I think if the line moved the way it did, it would be more of a running back that might be out than, in my mind, is how I see it. And,
for the Jet game.
You know, yeah, for the Jet game. Because you said he dropped 1.5 points, and that's
it was 4.5. It's I'm going to pull it up right now. I think it's down to 3.
And I'd be surprised. Well, you know,
3.5. So a full point, 4.5 to 3.5.
And Tennessee had that big lead, didn't they? And they blew it. And it isn't. I mean, they gave up 2 touchdowns on offense. So I was kind of surprised I even saw the come up favorite, to tell you the truth.
Don't get me started on Tennessee. I had Tennessee. I had a bad NFL weekend. I couldn't catch Tennessee blowing a 17-0 lead on a ridiculous interception, a punt block. I mean, just a bad. I think they gave up like a 50-yard field goal too to boot. Like, it was just no way I should have lost a plus 4.5 on that game. And I couldn't, as much as I like taking dogs and holding my nose and be like, I got to go. I couldn't even do it. I was just so frustrated with that club after that game there. Thursday night we got a game. We'll probably touch a little bit on tomorrow with Doug as well. But my initial thought here, it was 1.5 Miami over the Bills. The Bills are 1-2 the last 3 years as an underdog. I saw it was up to 2. I don't know in this game. Is it wrong I want to take an under? I know a lot of times you have ugly Thursday night matchups. This is actually a pretty good one. The Bills are 9-1. I think Allen's 9-1 or 10-1 or something like that versus Miami. He owns Miami. It's a night game. It's not like it's 100 degrees burning sun at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I kind of like the underdog with what we saw out of Buffalo. They're going to want to run the ball.
You know, Sean, maybe that line is so short because, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm going, you know, Miami, I would think would be 3. But you just mentioned that Buffalo has dominated this team other than that Monday night game, which opened the season last year when, that was against the Jets, to tell you the truth. So, but this Miami-Buffalo matchup, it looks like a come get me to me. I'm not quite sure yet. I still have to do a little bit more work on it. And, I was just surprised Miami was as short as they are a favorite at home.
Yeah, I was doing my little midday, and someone was like, "I think the side's gonna go to 3 or 3.5." I'm like, 3? I think people would be betting more probably Bills money line than 2.5 at this point. But we'll get into this tomorrow. But we got a couple football games, a little college action, Chip.
Yeah.
Little Saturday, both of our games at high noon. I'll be doing Memphis, Florida State. Uh-oh. Is that your phone? Who's acting up there? I hear something. Oh, it's gone now, whatever it was. Maybe it was just in my head. Anyway, Bama, Wisconsin for you. Camp Randall, high noon, Whiskey, Bama. Bama 16.5-point fave. Total of 50.5. I got the Miami U side behind me. I know this quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke. He had a nice little, I guess, a redshirt year for the Canes. Threw like 25 touchdowns. Now he is a graduate quarterback here. I'm going to let you go, and then I'll add what I have. I don't want to steal any of your thunder on this matchup, but what are you thinking here? 16.5 with Bama on the road. Bye week for Bama next week, by the way, and then at Georgia. So it's not like it's Georgia on deck. They got some time to not a true look ahead.
So you're telling me Tyler Van Dyke from Miami is now at Wisconsin?
He is.
Well, I saw him at Miami 2 years ago, and I thought the kid was a bona fide pro. And then last year, it was a total disaster. He was absolutely terrible. This Wisconsin team, I watched them their opening game against Western Michigan, or South Dakota, shall I say, and I was totally unimpressed. They come back against Western Michigan and win 63-0. But, Western Michigan, of course, can't compete with a Big Ten team like Wisconsin, particularly at home. But Wisconsin's 2-0, 0-2 against the number. Alabama last week, of course, had South Florida, and I took the points with that and was very fortunate to cover, considering they had a chance actually to go ahead in the game late, and then Alabama just poured it on. But Alabama didn't get the cash, and South Florida got the cash. I was happy about that. They opened season 63-0 against
Western Kentucky. Yeah.
The last time they played, Emma was a 12.5-point favorite. This was in 2005, and they won 35-17. I'm really not confident in this Wisconsin team after what I saw. Usually they have that big power running game. And I think the fact that it bothers me that next up for Alabama is Georgia, but they have 2 weeks for it. But Alabama here, I just think that they're underrated this year, even though they're such a heavy favorite on the road against a Big Ten team. I think Alabama might be the side here. I think they slept walk through most of the game last week, and they'll be ready here. And I think they have a tremendous amount of speed. Sean, Penn State and Alabama, from what I caught the first couple of games, have exceptional speed in the key positions, the wide receiver and the running back. So I think Alabama can win this. This is an awful lot of points to give a team like Wisconsin at home. I can't ever recall them being a double-digit underdog at home, and virtually 16.5. You've got to win by 3 scores, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I think it's harder to lay the 15.5 with Alabama off of the game they're coming off of, and Wisconsin coming off the big win over Western Michigan. I'm going to take Alabama here.
Bama, 16.5 for the chipper, official play. Now, you mentioned Bama's slow start there versus South Florida. It's 14-13, head into the fourth quarter. Then they 28-7 outscore them there. They get a big 56-yard run, a 40-something-yard touchdown pass. Talent prevails there. We're talking about Van Dyke. 1 touchdown pass in these first 2 games. I mean, you look at this, Western Michigan 28-14, 27-13 South Dakota, not really inspiring a lot of confidence in the offense. Like, I know they're trying to get away from the power run the last 2 years with the new coach and move to a more kind of pro-style kind of offense. 388 and 385 yards. I mean, 1 touchdown pass. I'm not liking that. I'm going to look at the under in this one. I kind of like the under. Like, where's the – and you mentioned Bama kind of being overrated or looked down or underrated perhaps, right? That's what happens. You're bringing a new head coach, and how's that going to change everything about it because he's such a defensive guy and behind-the-scenes kind of stuff that he does. The talent is still there. They always reload. They're not rebuilding. It's, we got rid of 6 guys that drafted the NFL. That's all right. The next 3 guys are already top round 2, round 3 prospects already.
Sean, you know who couldn't reload with new coaching is Michigan. I mean, they don't look good at all. But I think Alabama isn't going to miss much of a beat. I really expect them to, of course, make the playoffs, top 12 team. Yeah. So it will be difficult. But
number 4, currently ranked number 4. Ranked number 4. And Michigan, let's be honest, you get a new head coach, a new quarterback, a new running back. That's going to take time there. At least Bama's got the same quarterback. Milroe's been there. That's not really a change as opposed to losing guys who get drafted. Even if you take any team, you take your quarterback or running back, put them in the NFL in the first round, second round. You're going to probably struggle a little bit out the gate. And let's be honest, Texas looks pretty good. You got to like what you're seeing out of Longhorn so far. I mean, you go in there, they might be for real. I'm not a huge Sark guy. I was like, man, can that guy just win a game? He always seems to like choke it away, whether he was at Washington or, he almost had it last year. This could be their year though. Oh boy. I think them Georgia look pretty good, but what a beat down there in that game. All right. For me, well, before I do that, hit the like button if you haven't already. You're stopping by. You're 15 minutes in. Hit the like button. Give me, Chip, gamblersworld.net a follow on the Twitter X World. And remember, This is the free plays. We try to win the free plays. All right? We do our best. Sometimes the free plays turn into premium plays for us. It's over, we don't know where we're going to be on a Saturday. I mean, they come out, right? We're doing the research on them. We're trying to give you a winner. If you want the premium stuff, gamblersworld.net, 3-7 30-day packages guaranteed. And, of course, we have a leaderboard. Win or lose, we come in here every day, 5 days a week, live twice a week. You see how we do. We're not spewing lies out here with our records and stuff. But Memphis or Florida State for me here. Another high noon game on a Saturday. All right. It's Saturday the 14th. Wasn't that like a knockoff horror movie of Friday the 13th, Chip? Saturday the 14th? That's like probably some 80 cheesy, campy, ridiculous movie, Saturday the 14th. Florida State off a much-needed bye week in week 3. Hey, boy, did anybody need a bye week? Florida State starts the year top 10, out of it, 0-2. We're playing with a chip on our shoulders because we thought we should have made the playoffs last year. Well, you're a 6.5-point favorite here at home. Total's 52. I was screaming to take Georgia Tech in Ireland against these guys. I said, let's take BC because they were just manhandled and looked terrible at the line of scrimmage in Ireland. BC beats them. You were a 21-point favorite. Let's just start Georgia Tech. It was 14.5, went down to 10. It was 21 against Georgia Tech. It closed at like a 16-15 mark. Now, against an AAC team, we're laying less than a touchdown off of a bye week, no less. You'd think that maybe they kind of fixed the problem. I don't know if they could fix the problem. The quarterback, again, you're on your third team in 3 years. How good are you as a 5-star recruit? How good are you? I don't know. I don't know about that. Now you got the top dogs basically coming out of the AAC here in Memphis, thought to be the best team to win it. Preseason favorites here. Their head coach, Mike Norvell disciple. He was under him for 5 years coaching, even at Arizona State before he came to Memphis. Is he going to put the nail in the coffin for his mentor here? Part of me wishes this was more because you think like Florida State, the guy won't really run it up against an old team or an old coach. But I don't know with this number here. Florida State needs a win, but at 6.5, who's that? There we go. All right. I don't know what that was. Did you guys hear that, or is that just me in my head? Chip, is that you? Yeah, let's mute Chip there. Nope. Hold on, Chip. I hit the mute there because it's got some feedback. I'll pop you in when I get you. For me, like the 6.5 is kind of scary because who am I kidding? I'm going to take Memphis here plus 6.5, Chip, but I worry that Florida State is in such a back against the wall, like here come, like the little Wolverine, like, oh, we got to – this is it for their season here. They go 0-3. This guy might be – he was on the hot seat last year. Like you lose to Memphis here. You got a fourth-year quarterback here. Not much of a run game, though. See, this is where Florida State should dominate the line of scrimmage. But I can't lay a 6.5 because, one, it's 6.5, a power school versus a lower school. The fact they're 0-2, how doesn't Florida State win by a touchdown over a team that doesn't match up with them in the pipes, right in the middle of the line of scrimmage? I don't care, though. I'm taking Memphis until I see something out of Florida State that tells me they're a good team. Memphis is going to be pumped up to play Florida State. Yep. Come on. So you're going to be 6.5. I'm going to take the Memphis Tigers here plus 6.5.
I understand, and I'm very disappointed in Florida State. I didn't expect them. I actually wanted to evaluate what happened against Georgia Tech, so I passed on the Engineers. But when they played Boston College, I said, well, this team's going to come back here. I laid it and got crushed, of course. Boston College held them to 13 first downs, Sean, and 21 yards rushing. And I think it all stems from this quarterback. I mean, this is his 5th year. He's been terrible with everybody. When he was at Clemson, I mean, he was such a major disappointment. Last year, he went to Oregon State. I just don't like the kid. What's his name? DJ.
DJU.
I call him DJ Ugly because he's just he hasn't been good. I mean, he's thrown for 40. He throws for.
They pulled him out of a championship game for.
And here's a guy that in 2 years at Clemson threw 55%, 57%. 58% last year in a college level. That's not a really good completion level rate. I mean, I don't like him at all. I think in Memphis I'm wondering if Memphis has the same kind of speed and offensive firepower as they've had in the past. I mean, they were 37-point favorites over Northern Alabama. They win 40-0, and they beat Troy and covered. But then again, here they haven't played anyone the stature of the Seminoles. Florida State, boy, if they're down and they're bad, I can see them struggling to get this number. But I'm telling you, because of this quarterback, I'm going to play this game under the total. And my first instinct was that I thought it might be high scoring, but I just think Florida State has so many problems moving the ball, and particularly on the ground. If they're not going to be able to run the ball, I don't know how we're going to have much scoring. And I'm no confidence in their quarterback. I mean, I think you fade him almost every time out. You're already 2-0 if you did it this season. So, Sean, this is a tough one because of how bad Florida State has already been, and they're coming up favored at home. I'm going to play the under.
That's a good look there because Florida State's not really doing much. They should dominate size-wise in the trenches. And Memphis, again, big step-up competition. You mentioned their 2 games. 40-0, that's fine. They do that. It was 31-7. I think kicked the field goal at the end of the third quarter, make it 31-10. By that point, the games, they're already moving on. They're like, you know what? We got the win. Florida State on deck. Let's just get out of here healthy. We got bigger fish to fry. I could see an under here, though. I kind of like that. Maybe that'd be a little correlated. I kind of like the dog. I think it's going to be kind of a close game. I don't expect Memphis to come in here and score a 40-piece with their offense, especially they lost their starting running back last game or game 1. So that kind of offsets the weak play of the Noles defense there. But official for me, Memphis plus 6.5, Bama minus 60.5 for Chip Chirimbes, who's on a nice little roll, by the way, over at gamblersWORLD.net. What, 4-1? What'd you do this weekend? Nice little
I try not
college
to dwell
football
on it,
weekend.
Because
I'm the same way. It's like win, lose. Let's get on to it.
Yeah.
I know we have some sad news on this day, September 11th, but any sports news we could.
I do. I'll come back with that. But, in 1912 on September 11th, a guy by the name of Eddie Collins, you remember him, Sean, stole 6 bases in one game, and that was the first time. And on this date, in a very famous year in baseball history where they had Murderers Row and what they considered one of the greatest teams ever, the New York Yankees, Babe Ruth, hit his 50th home run in the year that he hit 60. Now, we're talking about September 11th, which means he hit 10 home runs in the next 20 days to get to 60. And there is some commonality in this date. In 1928, Ty Cobb had his last at bat. And in 1985, Pete Rose passed Ty Cobb with total hits with 4,192 on this date. So there's a little symmetry there. The sad thing about this date is that 22 years ago, or was it 23 years ago, we had the World Trade Center bombing, and it sort of changed the whole perspective of America from that day on. And it was one of the saddest days, September 11th. And by the way, in 1959, there was a guy named Jerry Walker who pitched a 16-inning shutout, 1-0 win over the White Sox. And we won't see that anymore, Sean. A pitcher going 16 innings and of shutout ball. But, that's pretty much it for September 11th. And
we had a guy.
What happened on 9/11, of course, is tragic. And we're just looking for another winner here, and let's come up with one.
You mentioned a 16-inning shutout. I think Amana was throwing a no-hitter. They took him out in the 7th inning the other day, right? You've seen guys pulled out for no-hitters.
That's silly. I mean, he not even got a hit off the guy. So maybe the analytics say that in the later innings he's going to give up more hits. But as it is, the best hitters only hit 3 out of 10 times, and there's only 2 guys in the National League that are over. Or 2 guys in the American League that are over National League over 300, and 4 guys in the American League over 300, and that's the entire baseball. So this whole bit about taking pitchers out late, I don't get it. I don't see it. I understand what they're doing. I understand the numbers say to do this, but we'd want to see a guy go 9 innings and pitch a no-hitter. If I was in attendance, I would be really irate that I had a chance to see a no-hitter, and they're yanking the guy out.
I don't get it's a combined no hitter. Combined no hitter. Is a team hitting a combined cycle? Do the bats go to Cooperstown? Come on, man, combined no hitter.
I know, that's silly. And you know what? They changed the rule on the no hitters that if it rained out after 7 innings, is no longer considered a no-hitter. He has to go 9 innings and no hit. But like we said, that's fine, but no shutouts, because in the 10th inning, we have to put a guy on second base. And I think that's absurd.
Me and Chip could go on about these crazy rules. We like our old school baseball.
How about the kickoff rule in football? I want to know, what if a team wants the onside kick, what are you going to do?
You tell them what you're going to do. We're going to kick over to this guy over here. Be safe. Be safe. Put your gloves on. Be careful. We're coming that way.
And there was only 1 run back in the Niner game Monday night. They got to kick off from the 20.
That guy rushed for, 190 yards versus the Jets. They talk so much crap, that defense. Oh, wow, it's a quarterback's problem. Yeah. All right, guys. Boy, if they lose to Will Levis.
I'm with. Well, how about Green Bay now? Love is gone.
I wish I was on FAN. I wish I could get FAN on the radio here. Oh, my goodness. Not even – I shouldn't even say that, because the old FAN were like Summers at night.
They buried Jones. I listened to it over the weekend. They buried Jones. I mean,
it's terrible. The team is bad. It's bad.
Sean, he threw the same interceptions in the last preseason game, that 6-yard touchdown pass. It just seems that he just turns mechanically and throws no matter who's there.
Honestly, listen, his first year under Dabble, he looked pretty good. I'm like, wow, you know what?
Yep.
Allen kind of took a step back. He was fumbling more. And Daniel Jones kind of took a step forward with his running. You think, all right, he's going to help him like he helped Josh Allen, right? Hold on to the ball, do this and that. And then a total whatever. I mean, he had a nice little run. You thought maybe they have something in his year 1.
Well, and without Barkley this year, I mean, they've got no semblance of a running game. And, last year he got buried with sacks and he was injured. So, we could sort of put that aside. But remember, Sean, that year before when they made the playoffs, the big games they won, he was breaking long runs.
Yes.
It was more of him running. He ran 80 yards, 75 yards in a couple of different games. Got caught, of course. But, if you got a quarterback that's going to run like that, say like Terry Bradshaw or these other Jackson, of course, had Baltimore's one of the best runners in the league. But what I'm trying to say is that he didn't pass the team down the field.
Yes, but
even in his winning seasons.
But that's fine, because you see Allen do that. You see Hurts take off some. You see Lamar. And again, he's not. I'm not saying he's that guy. All right, because I'm not even a Giant fan, but. If you work that into the thing, maybe they'd be a little better, as opposed to let's just put the guy like Lamar 1 year. Oh, he's just going to be a pocket passer. He's not going to run. Yeah, what happened? He started out bad, and then you let him run free, and he's completing passes and taking off when he has to. Let him play to the guy's strengths. But, hey, NFL, quarterbacks are going to get their $40 million, or Dak's going to get $60 million. They're going to get their money. There's only a couple of them. They're not even that good. But, Giant fans, long season ahead for you, Giant fans.
Yep.
Long season. We'll be talking about them in December to see who they're going to take number 1 in the draft. Like, they'll be right up there in the top 5 to get a quarterback. We'll be talking about Heisman quarterbacks who might go to the Giants, live up to the hype. All right, wrapping this puppy up here. 3738 packages guaranteed at gamblersworld.net. Hit the like button. Why not? It is absolutely free to do. What's not free is the $2.49 end of baseball. It's playoff push time. Wild card, playoffs, everything through the World Series, $2.49. And we, again, use the leaderboard. You see who's doing well in baseball, college football, NFL, soon to be hockey and NBA. It's in October. Great. It's mid-November. It's basically mid-September. NBA and hockey are going to be here less than a month.
I haven't skated in a long time.
All right. Chipper likes Alabama 16.5. I'm going Memphis Doggies plus 6.5 against Florida State. We'll be back tomorrow. Me, Chip, Doug. I think we'll do a little football tomorrow for you folks. If you're interested in that, come back and see us. For gamblersworld.net, Chip Chirimbes, I'm Sean Higgs. Back Thursday.